Conflict can lead to violence. It can take the form of verbal abuse, threatening behavior, sexual harassment or abuse, racist abuse, or a physical attack. There are many risk factors which can lead to conflict and violence. Risk factors can include poor customer service, excessive alcohol intake, drugs use, large groups of males, territorial conflict, and relationship conflicts. People may be triggered into an angry reaction by losing face, feeling insulted, being embarrassed, or if they think someone is laughing at them. And of course, alcohol tends to increase the likelihood that someone will become unpredictable and less controlled, and therefore customers who have had a drink may be easier to trigger. The law relating to the use of force in self-defense entitles you to use reasonable and necessary force in order to protect yourself and others. What is reasonable and necessary will depend on the circumstances. But the purpose of this film is not to deal with the issues related to physical intervention, which is a specialized subject in its own right. No. We would prefer to look at how you might minimize the risks of this type of thing happening in the first place.
Get your hands off me. That's all right.
Our aim should always be to minimize the risks and learn from our experiences. So always evaluate the incident to understand what happened, how did we deal with it, was it effective, have the premises been compromised, and crucially, what could we do differently next time? So how would you identify the telltale signs of conflict developing in your pub or bar? And how and at what point do you intervene to defuse the situation and stop an escalation of violence?
Anyway, I'm gonna have to go, okay? I'll catch up with you later. Okay. Good night.
Who's that?
Just a guy I know.
You seem to know him pretty well.
No, just a casual acquaintance.
Just a casual acquaintance, is he?
Oh, grow up, you're behaving like a child.
I'm not the one who's acting like a tart.
Don't speak to me like that. I'm tired of your controlling behaviour.
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't have to if you knew your place.
My place? My place? What gives you the right to tell me how to behave?
Some of the telltale signs of a conflict developing may be subtle, but they can soon escalate into something very serious. It could include spoken or body language, for example, swearing, personal insults, threats, clenched fists, intense staring, lowering of stance and hunched shoulders, or invasion of personal body space. Not everybody gets violent when they become angry, but alcohol can reduce the body's natural inhibitors, which might usually prevent an angry and violent response. Your attitude and how you choose to deal with a situation can have a major influence on whether the incident escalates and someone chooses to fight with you. When you speak to someone who is under the influence of alcohol, talk slowly and calmly, adopt a non-aggressive stance, and maintain a space between them and you.
Yeah, guys, can I have a word, please?
Keep out of this, mate. It's a personal disagreement.
Yeah, look, I can see that, but you got to understand this is a business. You're shouting and screaming can upset our other customers.
Oh, come on, gonna go get a taxi.
No, I've had enough of this. I can't take this anymore.
Acting like a little prima donna.
Staff are often faced with fast-developing situations which are unique and not catered for in generic risk assessments. These are often the situations where people get hurt as they do not have a way of assessing the risks they are confronted with and do not respond appropriately. When you are dealing with angry and aggressive customers, the ability to carry out a dynamic risk assessment is obviously a key skill. The process is relatively simple, so firstly step back momentarily and make a quick assessment of the situation and the threat presented. Find help if needed and evaluate the options available to you. And lastly, respond by using the most appropriate option. When making the initial assessment of the threat, it might be helpful to use the POP method. POP stands for people, object, and place. You will need to look at the people involved, any objects that might be used as a weapon, and the environment where the incident is taking place.
Wait until I get you home.
Go on, show them what a real man you are.
Guys,
So what do we know about these two individuals? Have you met them before, and if so, what do you know about them? Do they have a history of anger or aggression? How do they appear? Are they suffering the effects of drink and drugs? Are they fitter and stronger than you? Is there an object in the person's possession or nearby items such as a glass or bottle that could be used as a weapon? What is the situation with regard to where you are, including the time of day? Are there other people around? Are you in a confined environment which would limit your ability to maneuver or escape? It's obvious that in this scenario, both parties are angry and the situation is escalating. There are glasses on a table nearby which could be used as a weapon. The bar isn't too busy and there is space to move or back away if necessary. When someone is in a high state of emotion and angry, there is little point in trying to appeal to their rational side. You will only be able to resolve the issue once you have managed to de-escalate the situation. Maintain self-control. Do not be pulled into a conflict. Try to retain your state of independence. Stay calm and show empathy, and actively listen.
Look, come on, look. I know why you're upset. If you continue to scream and shout, I'm going to have to ask you to leave, okay? I don't want to do that.
No, you don't have to. I've had enough of this. I'm going home. Keep him away from me.
Don't be a fool. Come back. We'll go home together. Mate, keep off.
Believe me, mate, I don't want to get involved in your dispute over here. We have a company policy not to allow drunk and disorderly behaviour on the premises. Now, you don't want us to lose our licence, do you?
If you feel that you have to confront someone's behaviour, then make sure that you are assertive and adopt a non-confrontational approach, rather than appearing aggressive. Many people make the mistake of thinking assertive behaviour is similar to aggressive behaviour. By being non-confrontational, you avoid further provocation of the other person. The more emotional someone becomes, the less they can hear and rationalise what is being said to them. However, they will instinctively respond to body language and tone of voice. Aggressive signals are easy to spot. As someone becomes angrier, they tend to turn square on, stare fixedly, and clench their fists. To signal that you aren't aggressive, do the opposite. Turn slightly to one side, one shoulder turned away, open palms, and maintain normal eye contact. An open-handed gesture is a very powerful signal that you do not want to fight. If someone is trying to intimidate you, they may try to move into your intimate space to make you feel uncomfortable. To prevent this, maintain space between you so that the person has to take at least a step forward in order to touch you. This will also open up visual escape routes for both you and the other person. In aggressive situations, it's important to try and achieve as normal eye contact as possible. Never stare fixedly at another person, as they may see this as a challenge. And lastly, show that you are actively listening. You can demonstrate this by head nodding, gestures, and repeating back phrases that we are hearing and understand what the person is saying.
I know you want to go, and I know you're angry. It's obvious your girlfriend doesn't want to come with you. Let's just cut this dispute here now, because if we can't resolve it, I will have to get the police involved, because that is company policy. But I don't want to have to do that.
Okay, well, can you just tell Hayley that I'm going to go back to the house, yeah?
Of course, mate, we can do that. You go, the police don't get involved.
I'll work with you. Right, there's no need to touch me. I'm going to go.
Okay.
All right?
I appreciate that.
It's fine.
Okay, thank you, mate.
Don't need to follow me, mate.
So make sure you get out safely.
Your first priority should always be your own safety. You should never confront if you are going to put yourself at risk of injury. Your decision to confront is likely to be influenced by factors such as whether you have the appropriate skills and knowledge to defend yourself from a physical assault, and what support is available to you.
Okay, I've just put Hayley in a taxi just to make sure she's going safely. And I'm just going to write it up in the duty log.
Nice. Okay.
Right, so I'll be in the office if you need me.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
cheers.
you. Yeah.
You Ricky Green?
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Green?
Yeah.
Pubwatch banned you a few months ago for assaulting someone.
Oh, yeah. It was a misunderstanding. Don't worry, your boss knows all about it. You know, I drink here all the time, it's fine.
Okay, I'm not sure that's right, actually. And your name is definitely on the list of banned people.
Yeah, and like I said, Sweet Pea, it was a misunderstanding. Ask your boss, he'll tell you.
Look, that may be the case, but I'm in charge tonight. And I think you are banned, so I will have to ask you to leave.
Well, that's not going to happen, because I've just paid for a fresh pint. And my money pays your wages, so...
One of the most difficult issues faced by staff working in licensed premises is the refusal to serve. This can be necessary for a variety of reasons, but the common problem is the lack of discretion available. Because once the need to refuse service has been recognised, the member of staff has no alternative but to follow through with a subsequent action. Don't forget that people can be triggered into an angry reaction by losing face, feeling insulted, or being embarrassed. So take a step back to assess the situation by using the POP method. We know that Ricky Green has a history of violence. He is drinking from a pint glass which could be used as a weapon. He is standing against the bar, so could you back off and escape if the situation turns ugly? Remember that creating space will make you safer and give you time to think. Just because physical violence is a possibility, it doesn't have to be the outcome. You can influence and determine what happens next. A calm head needs to prevail. It's time to use your conflict management skills and bring this incident to a safe and satisfactory conclusion. It's time to show how professional you are.
Okay, but as I keep telling you, your name is on the list of banned people. That's from Pubwatch, so I will have to ask you to
And
leave.
as I keep saying, get your boss on the phone.
Well, that's not going to happen, I'm afraid. We do have...
Right, no, it's okay. I'm gone.
Everything all right?
Yeah, fine. Have you still got the duty book?
No, it's in your office. I left it in the top drawer.
Okay, I just need
I'll
to
sort
go.
them boxes out here. I'm done.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to write this up.
For more information about conflict management, visit the National Pubwatch Good Practice Pub at www.nationalpubwatch.org.uk or by visiting the British Institute of Innkeeping awarding body at biiab.org or contact their qualifications team at qualifications@bii.org.